All right, welcome back. Today, we are going on a bit of a detective mission. We're going to crack a code that's been hiding in plain sight inside one of the most basic shapes you can think of, the triangle. Let's uncover its secrets, shall we? So, let's start with a big question to get those gears turning. Think about any triangle, big, small, skinny, wide, doesn't matter. There is one secret number that is inside every single one of them. Any idea what it is? Because, this number, it's the key to everything. And there it is, 180 degrees. Seriously, burn this number into your brain. It's not just some random fact. It is our master key. Once you have this, you can unlock pretty much any triangle mystery out there. We're going to come back to this again and again. Okay, so here's the golden rule, the most important piece of evidence we have. If you take any triangle, literally any of them, and you add up its three inside angles, those three corners, they will always add up to exactly 180 degrees. No exceptions. That's our rule. All right, we've got our golden rule. Now it's time to meet the suspects. We're going to line up the different types of triangles and see what makes each one tick. First up, we've got the acute triangle. I like to think of this one as, well, the sharp one. All three of its angles are acute, which is just a fancy way of saying they're all less than 90 degrees. Everything is kind of pointy and tight, No big, wide angles here. Okay, next in the lineup is the right triangle. This guy is super easy to spot. Why? Because it has one perfect square corner, an angle that is exactly 90 degrees. Think about the corner of a piece of paper or a TV screen. That's a right angle. For sure, the easiest suspect to identify. In rounding out our top three suspects is the obtuse triangle. This one's kind of the opposite of the acute triangle. It's got one angle that's big, wide, and open, more than 90 degrees. It's the one that looks like it's leaning back, just relaxing. So let's look at the lineup one more time. You've got the acute, where everything's less than 90, the right with that one perfect 90-degree angle, and the obtuse with that one big angle that's over 90. See, three totally different profiles, all identified by their angles. Okay, so we've met the main suspects. But now, let's talk about our special informants. These are the triangles that give us extra clues to work with. First up is the isosceles triangle. Now, the big secret with this one is that it's symmetrical. An isosceles triangle always has two angles that are exactly equal. That's its dead giveaway. It's tell. If you spot two identical angles, boom, you've gotten an isosceles on your hands. And then there's this one, the most predictable of them all, the equilateral triangle. The name kind of gives it away, right? Equi for equal. In an equilateral triangle, all three angles are exactly the same. It's just perfectly balanced. And this is where it gets really cool. Think about it. If you have three equal angles, and we know they have to add up to 180, what does each angle have to be? Well, what's 180 divided by 3? It's 60. So every single angle in an equilateral triangle is always 60 degrees. Always, it's like its own unbreakable code. Okay, you've met the whole crew. You know the golden rule of 180. So what do you say? Let's put those new detective skills to the test and crack a few cases. All right, here's our first case. Picture this. We've got a triangle, but we only have two pieces of the puzzle. We know one angle is 50 degrees and another is 60. The question is, what's that third missing angle? How are we going to figure this out? Simple. We go right back to our master key, 180 degrees. That's our total. So we just subtract the angles we already know. 180 minus 50, that leaves us with 130. Then take that 130 and subtract the other angle, 60. And what do you get? 70. The missing angle has to be 70 degrees. See? Easy. Case closed. Nice work. Okay, let's switch gears a little. This time, I'm not going to hide any numbers. I'll give you all three angles, and your job is to identify the type of triangle. Ready? Okay, case file number 1. The angles are 40, 70, and another 70. Look closely at that evidence. What's jumping out at you? What kind of triangle fits this profile? So let's break it down. First off, all three angles, 40, 70, 70, are less than 90, right? So we know for sure it's an acute triangle. But hang on, there's another clue. See those two 70-degree angles? They're identical, and that's the classic sign of an isosceles triangle. So this one actually has two identities. It's an acute isosceles triangle. Ready for the next one? Case file number 2. The angles are 90, 45, and 45. That 90-degree angle should be screaming at you right now. What have we got? Yep, you got it. That 90-degree angle is a dead giveaway. It's a right triangle. But just like the last one, check out those other two angles, 45 and 45. They match, so it's also an isosceles triangle. Put it together and you get a right isosceles triangle. All right, time for our last case file. This is a classic. The angles are 60, 60, and 60. You should recognize this one immediately. It's our special informant. Of course. 3 equal angles can only mean one thing. It's an equilateral triangle. And hey, since 60 is less than 90, it also fits the profile of an acute triangle, right? So it's both, the perfect balanced triangle. You've been amazing. Seriously. You know the golden rule. You can spot all the suspects. You've cracked every case so far. So let's wrap this up with one final challenge that brings it all together. Okay, here it is. Listen closely. You have an isosceles triangle. We know one of its angles is a big, obtuse angle of 110 degrees. Now remember what you know. You know the total is 180, and you know that because it's isosceles, 2 of the angles have to be equal. So what are the other 2? I'm going to leave this one with you. You have all the clues. The case is yours.